spots now for sure. But we usually get prototypes, like someone like this, and then we create a list because, of course, availability can be an issue.
Yeah, well, this season you had to cast some semi-evil billionaires, which is very topical at the moment. How did you sort
evil
of
billionaires? What an idea!
This was a very not to jump all around. This was a very topical season, by the way.
I would say there were times in the room where we're like, something would happen in the news, and we'd be like, "Oh my God, we were onto something," and then we would go, "Oh my God, we're late to it." By the time the show comes out, they'll be like, "That's 5 months ago," but at the time, felt very poignant.
Yeah, no, but yeah, nonetheless. So the cast this season. So Tiffany, talk a little bit more about who you were looking for and sort of what you found in casting these billionaires, but then we'll talk about Keegan-Michael Key.
Well, I think the big thing with when there's those triplets like last season and this season is the dynamics, how different they are and in what way are they different, so that it can really be a setup for a lot of fun comedy. I don't like to talk about who, we talked about because it feels like we're rejecting them and we're a nice show. But I will say that we ended up, I think, with like our dream cast. For sure, I mean, Christoph Waltz for me is like bucket list. Big time. Never thought that would happen.
And again, at one point, I looked over in the holding area, and everyone was kind of talking on this side. We were playing some game, and I counted the Oscars. And there were 9 Oscars.
Yes.
Meryl, 3. Davine, 1. Steve Martin, 1. Christoph, 2. Renee, 2. Diane Weiss, 2. And it just, who am I leaving out? But it just went on and on. It was insane.
That's now.
And I have an ACE award, so. Thank you. I'm just saying, it's a fact.
And the SAG award this year. Let's not. Is that one of the smell tests now? They have to have an Oscar or be nominated, or you've got a high bar now, Tiffany, in terms of who you're looking for.
As we say, all they can say is no. So why don't we dream big?
Yeah. When you go out to the murderer of the season, like Keegan-Michael Key this season, do they know from the start, or how do you break it to them? Do they ask, like, can I be the murderer? I want to be the murderer.
No, but usually I have to do, like, a guarantee so we don't lose them, because when someone's a guest star, you only can usually offer a couple, and then you just hope they stay around. So often I know because of that, but not this season. This season we just did a number, and he remained available. But I thought we were really playing with fire there.
Yeah.
Because usually I do know, and I'm like, we can't lose the person, for the 10th episode.
Right.
Well, the great thing about the show is that any one of those people could have been the murderers. So it could have there could have been a good explanation for a number of these people, and that's been the case for several seasons on the show. But we've been alluding to their names, but why don't we just Renee Zellweger? You mentioned Christoph Waltz, of course, Logan Lerman, Keegan-Michael Key. We talked about Jermaine Fowler, who's so fantastic as the new doorman. Beanie Feldstein, which you mentioned, Bobby Cannavale, who's just so fantastic, Diane Weiss, and of course Téa Leoni, who seems to be now living her best life in Positano. So good on her. That's fantastic for her too. But the other real great star of the season was once again the building, the Arconia, and I love the fact that we learned more about this building. We saw new nooks and crannies. Of course, that whole gambling downstairs, which somehow we never knew about before, but was a pretty hopping place.
Yeah.
There must have been a line down the block to get in, but no one ever really noticed before until this season. But it was beautiful. The set designer really outdid themselves this season with just the look of the show. But let's talk a little bit about sort of what that's meant to bring the show back a little bit, to spend more time in the building. Ben, was that sort of a conversation this season? The show's traveled around a lot the past couple of years, especially to LA, and going back to basics and being so Arconia focused this season.
Yeah, it definitely from the start of the season, going back to the building and New York felt very important. And I think the theme of home kind of came forward, and Old New York and New York, and I think Marty's story this season and his relationship, or all the trio's relationship to the building, but Oliver's relationship to his home was very central to us, and I think that was born out of the fact that Lester being our victim and his relationship to the building, it was always going to be the building. And I think maybe like my two favorite episodes were the Lester backstory and the final party, that episode 9, where it's just populated with all of our old friends.
Yeah, it was kind of nice that we got a lot of throwbacks, a lot of mentions.
And Nathan Lane, we showed
Nathan Lane return.
back.
Yeah, it was so great to see old cast members, but then also references to some old storylines as well, sort of really tying in the previous seasons too, which was pretty cool. For you two especially, having spent so much time now on these sets, how has that evolved for you, and sort of, you know, seeing what they do every year, how they change these sets, how they change your apartments, and also, of course, that new gambling den set. What's that like for you to sort of discover new things in where you're working?
Well, I think that for me, what's remarkable at the show is that every department, casting, writing, acting, is just 9 or 10 out of 10. And so you get a little spoiled. You get used to being blown away. But still, when we walked into that casino set, we thought, okay, this is insane.
Yeah.
This is insane. It's so smart. It's so clever. It's so engaging. It's the show really has, in every department, I think, the top people you could ever get for that department. And that's kind of the miracle of it. That's the full home run of it.
Yeah.
It's also a really great place to take naps. The most beautiful set. We took naps.
Yeah, those velvet
right there.
high chairs, right?
Yeah.
Delicious.
Under tables or...
No, the chairs.
Chairs.
Yeah.
At one point, I think we were near just next to each other. And just sitting there. It was great.
That looks very...
And that was during some of the takes that end up in the show.
It's always in episode 5.
Yeah.
Who knows what happens in an episode 5? Oliver kind of gets mocked for his apartment this year by Camilla, but I kind of love how busy his apartment is and how homey it is, and it feels
I love
lived
the
in.
apartment.
Yeah.
When Ryan Brouchard, who plays my son, in the very first episode, I went to borrow some money from him, and about 4 episodes later, he came and finally he's doing a scene in my apartment. He looked around the apartment and said, "Dad, go fuck yourself." Because this is not a man who seems to be broke when you live in that apartment. It's the most beautiful. I mean, in New York, what would that apartment cost? I don't know.
Right. It's got to be rent control, right? Or somehow Oliver managed to get that apartment in like 1977 or something when it was cheap.
Yeah.
But no, it's and so that's why we're all relieved that the Arconia does live on for next season as well. But let's talk about Oliver himself, because we've seen growth of all these characters, and including Oliver has sort of gone through a lot of therapy on the show, and is obviously in a better place now, being married, and there's some drama there, but he seems to be finding himself a little bit. But how would you sort of describe the journey of Oliver and where he is now?
Well, I loved finding out a little bit about his childhood this year. Because again, the writing is very pristine to me, because it makes sense that was his childhood.
Yeah.
It makes sense why he makes up these stories that are kind of truthful.
It was kind of heartbreaking, but also made you more protective as a viewer of Oliver,
I think
and
so,
getting
yeah.
him a little bit more.
Yeah, especially the way I played it.
He's more than a cuckoo chick. He's got layers. He's got depth.
Yeah.
And we've seen him win some, and obviously he's married to Meryl Streep now.
Yeah, how
That's the
bad could
biggest
that
win
be?
of all.
Yeah.
So they all have their elements of win. Now, Sabrina, at the same time, I fear... Selena, what?
Sabrina.
Love to be.
It's late. Who knows why I said that? Selena...
I have my own theories, but go ahead.
I know. Let's do some therapy right now. Selena, I worry about Mabel. because she is turning into these guys.
I know, but you should be more worried about me because A, you forgot my name, and B, I don't know what's going on either.
Let's be honest
Every
here.
season has been really, really interesting. She comes from a very lonely place, and I think from the get-go, you see her create this friendship and bond with Steve and Marty, and I'll always remember the first day on set to the last day that we were on set. I've inherently become both of them in a really weird way, where I'm super protective and a little bit shy in Steve's way, and then with Marty, I just want to insult him and do it brilliantly just so I can
And
get
she
the
does.
laugh.
It's a win, yeah.
Does,
No,
yeah.
but I fail sometimes, and I appreciate the moment of recognition that it's a fail.
But you also succeed, and it hurts.
I was going to say, you probably picked up some pretty good one-liners and then just certain things that now you're much
No, I think we
better.
taught her the right level of mean.
It's been such a delight. They're just the best people, and yeah, they're my besties.
So it's yeah, aw, yeah.
And we adore Selena so much, it's insane. That's all.
As a matter of
That's a
fact. And you have a nickname for her. You call her Sabrina. It's
Well, only when I've been drinking.